Who is Skip Bayless' hairstylist? Again, Shun Faraji. I wish I knew how to pronounce her name. Served as a hairstylist for Bayless on Fox Sports Talent based in Los Angeles. She was hired by Fox on a part-time basis in 2012 and full-time in 2016. According to her lawsuit, she was victim of workplace misconduct from 2012 to 2024. 12 years. And I want to, no victim blaming here, but 12 years? That's why it's sort of like, I couldn't be like, again, what they're saying that Bobby Diaz did, openly groping people, like everyone's just seeing this sexual harassment occur. I couldn't do that. I'm out. Like I'm gonna get another job. Like I'm not just gonna quit my job. I don't if I need that money, but I'm getting another job. I'm about to stay here for 12 years. What? I mean, my goodness, Stockholm syndrome. But I mean, at some point in time, I mean, how do we know you just mad that you couldn't be Joy Taylor and they wasn't trying to put you out the hairstylist role? There go my victim blaming for today. But it's like, I mean, Joy had no issue. I mean, because she was getting at me. You was offered 1 mil. I mean, you claiming Skip offered you 1.5 mil. And I know you wasn't making that as a hairstylist at FS1. That's probably I'm not gonna say how much the hairstylists get paid, but my guess is 1.5 mil from 2012 to 2024 is close to, if not more than her gross. Because she was part-time for 4 years. My guess is that's close to her gross during that she made that time frame. Okay, Skip Bayless net worth. Yeah, see, his net worth is an estimated 17 million. And again, these net worth things aren't accurate, right? We don't know what it is. But Skip damn near offered her 10% of his net worth for some box. And I want to be clear, most of y'all got a negative net worth and is out here having sex. So I guess, I mean, I shouldn't, try to be too hard on Skip Bayless, but I mean, my goodness, pause, right? But I mean, that's crazy. 73-year-old former host of Undisputed spent 8 years with Fox Sports for leaving 2024. He is the subject of some of the most troubling allegations in the lawsuit, including the claim that he offered 1.5 million. All right, who is Charlie Dixon? He's an executive vice president of content at Fox Sports, making him one of the most important decision makers at the company. Dixon joined in 2015 and oversees all content and production on the channel. According to the hairstylist in the lawsuit, Dixon abused that power at multiple points. He's accused of demanding sexual relationships with female employees and, in at least one case, firing an employee after she refused to have sex with him. That firing of an employee for not having sex, that's a big deal. And obviously, it's alleged he was having sex with Joy, and Joy got promoted with that. So there you go. And again, some of these women, they turned him down. It seems like most of them turned him down, besides Joy, and Joy was willing to get down with it. And that is what it is. Fox Sports released a short statement after the lawsuit. Yeah, Fox they're not gonna do too much talking. They got a whole lawsuit on their hands here, and a lot of the stuff in here is egregious. And we're gonna get back to what I think is the most egregious thing in the lawsuit. We take these allegations seriously and have no further comment at this time, given this pending litigation. Per the lead attorney on this case for us told me to say, right? I mean, let's be very clear. The company said in the wake of the bombshell. Notably, the lawsuit names longtime co-host Colin Cowherd, but not negatively. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. A lot of people don't like Colin. I've always loved Colin's takes back when he was on ESPN. And this one, I say, as far as, listening to him. And this makes me like, okay, good choice, with Colin. I never really banged with Skip like that. Joy is like, it is what it is. I don't like Emmanuel Ocho. Out of people that are named here, obviously, love Shannon Sharp. But, shout out to Colin Hurd being negatively involved in this, because Colin had Joy on his show. And Cowherd is described as being professional and respectful to her throughout her time at Fox Sports. Again, any show that Joy Taylor was on and had a very serious role in, because after Joy left Undisputed, then she went over to Colin Cowherd's show. So that's probably why they're like, hey, what's up with Colin? And they're like, nah, Colin's cool. All right. Shannon Sharp, meanwhile, said after the lawsuit service that it ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know, maybe this is why Shannon left, because he may or may not have known this was going on, but was like, hey, it's time for me to get up out of here. And declined to address allegations because he wasn't. He not mentioned, but Shannon Sharp is not okay. Shannon Sharp is mentioned in the lawsuit as far as his name. He is not mentioned in the lawsuit as of doing anything. So the lawsuit is short, says that Skip is alleging that the hairstylist and Shannon had a relationship, not that the hairstylist, and I believe there are many other women on this lawsuit. Right. No one is alleging that Shannon Sharp did anything besides Skip Bayless, who is alleged, right, of paying the 1.5 million. He's offering 1.5 million for the box. He's like, no. He's like, nah, it's my turn. Right. He's saying it's my turn. You have sex with Shannon. She's like, I'm not having sex with Shannon. So Shannon is in the lawsuit, but not admission of doing anything. But I guess they didn't say he wasn't doing anything either. Sort of like how like Colin Cowherd is apparently mentioned as of not doing anything. Shannon, I guess, is not. Bayless did not address these allegations. I wouldn't either against him in the most recent episode of his new show on YouTube. Taylor also appeared on air after the lawsuit was filed, but did not mention any of the allegations there. I would be surprised they could say anything. I'd be shocked. Well, I mean, Skip and Shannon could say what they want because they don't work there anymore, but Joy and Emmanuel Acho, anyone on Fox, they got to act like this didn't even happen. All right, but here's the biggest thing as we're about to get into this video here. We're going to test out the troubleshooting. At the end right here, where this is saying about Taylor's alleged to have a relationship with Mr. Dixon and Ocho at the same time. When the hairstylist approached her about this, saying, hey, Dixon is a powerful man. I don't know if you do that. Taylor, this is in the lawsuit. Joy Taylor apparently told the hairstylist she would simply report Dixon's misconduct to Fox Sports once he was no longer useful to her. Wait, what? So you're going to claim that he committed a sex crime against you, even though you was actually willingly in this relationship? And it's alleged that your husband divorced you over it, but then you was going to say that a sex crime committed against you, which is borderline impossible to come back from. Hold on now. That's we talking about now. That's alleged, right? But if this is something that is proven to be found true, that Joy Taylor was going to essentially say someone who she was in a committed relationship with actually forced her to have sex with him, and then that's why you got to. All right, now, y'all.
Multiple things can be true at once. But I have realized that there is a subgroup of people on the internet who are committed to misunderstanding me and are going to hate me no matter what I say. So the truth is, number one, if it is true that Joy Taylor admitted that she will be willing to lie about SA if she was caught sleeping with a boss at work while married, that is wrong. People should get in trouble for lying about SA and falsely accusing men of SA. Not only does it hurt.
Is she wrong here when she's saying this? This is the issue that a lot of men have with Me Too movement and bully ball women. This is alleged in a lawsuit that not only Joy Taylor was having sex in short to make her way to the top, but then she was going to turn around and say the people she had sex with actually forced her to have sex with them. Huh? Come on now, y'all. Let's have a serious conversation about that. Again, everything else in the lawsuit, if it's they're alleged, whatever is deemed true, those are egregious as well. But in short, everyone, not everyone, enjoy Taylor's situation. People having consensual sex. She's sleeping her way to the top. No one was forced. That kind of is what it is. There's there's cocaine in there. Look, drugs in Hollywood. That kind of is what it is. Obviously, we're like the hairstylist being forced to, sexual harassment in her case. Understand? Right, those are crimes there. But when Joy's saying she was going to lie about this. Well, Joy, you a two-faced bitch. Let's just keep it real. Not only is he gonna sleep your way to the top, then you're gonna turn around and say he committed a sex crime against you. Come on now. And then not to mention, shout out to Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor, I love watching Jason Taylor play. I know this nigga got to be heated right now. All right.
It hurt the men and their reputation, but it only hurts SA victims, real SA victims. Women are lying. That y'all are using Joy Taylor as the face of this lawsuit because of misogyny. Because Taylor is on television talking about sports on major platforms, opinion and being honest and being
No. Okay. See, and I don't read these articles or watch these videos ahead of time. I watch them just enough to make sure. But sometimes, I get screwed in that. I want to be clear, and this is part of the issue. And I was going to make a post about this today about people not understanding. A lot of times when we are having these conversations, people don't have them in chronological order as far as a historical standpoint. Initially, sports coverage in general wasn't that popular. Shout out to rest in peace and Stuart Scott, who really kind of kicked this off at ESPN. This man, Rich Eisen, a handful of people at ESPN who really got the sports entertainment going in conjunction with like the success that a lot of teams were having, like in the 80s and 90s, right? Jordan, right there. Everything kind of had a great synergy at the same time with historical athletes like the Jordans of the world and ESPN having the talent to comment on these things. Stuart Scott, for those who don't know, he used to be a professional athlete, right? I believe. Let me see who he played for. Or did he go play D1? I can't remember who Stuart Scott played for. I know he went to North Carolina. I'm looking at this ESPN. I can't find it. But anyways, Stuart Scott played sports at a high level as well. At least I believe at the Division I level. Anyways, but there was a time where, and we're seeing it now. If you didn't notice, like the players who played like in the 80s and 90s, they're kind of now just getting on television. I say now, like in the last like decade or so. I think NFL Network is the best example where at a time, NFL Network's lineup, on Sunday, NFL game day, was a combination of Steve Mariucci being essentially the only person who wasn't going to be in the Hall of Fame. They had Kurt Warner, they had Marshall Faulk, they had Deion Sanders, they had Warren Sapp, they had Michael Irvin, they had LaDainian Tomlinson, they had Deion Sanders, they had Shannon Sharp. Everyone just named is Hall of Famer, by the way. Talking about the NFL. Newsflash, women cannot have more of a say so in the conversation about the NFL or about the NBA or about MLB over the Hall of Famers in the sport. A lot of people, Alec Rodriguez, David Ortiz, a lot of players now talking about sports. Isaiah Thomas is talking about sports. The greatest sports show, I think, on television is the TNT show with Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. Now, Kenny Smith is not a Hall of Famer, but he won, I believe, national championship at UNC. So he played in North Carolina, arguably the greatest college basketball program in the history of the world. And then he played on the Houston, won back-to-back championships with Hakeem Olajuwon. So he has that championship cachet to him as well. There are a small set of women, if any women at all, that you're going to be like, oh yeah, you need to talk basketball over, you know, Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley. Like, no, that's not the case. Now, we're seeing more as the WNBA is popping off. You are seeing WNBA players having conversations, Candace Parker of the world, having conversations about Candace Parker has been on the TNT show, but also talking about the WNBA as well. But the issue is a lot of the notorious WNBA players may still be playing in the WNBA, so they're not going to be able to talk about the WNBA while they're still playing in the league. Now, like 20 years from now, we might see Caitlin Clark, we might see Angel Reese talking about the WA and doing commentary on it. But like when someone like LaShawn McCoy, who, if you let me talk about it, he was the best running back since LaDainian Thompson. Not the best runner. Best runner is Adrian Peterson, but the best running back overall, in my eyes, is LaShawn McCoy. But LaShawn McCoy, two-time Super Bowl champion, one of the greatest Philadelphia Eagles all time. You can make the case that he's the second best Eagle of all time behind Reggie White. Like who's the second best Eagle of all time that isn't Reggie White? LaShawn McCoy is in that case. He did not win a Super Bowl, with the Eagles. You can throw Nick Foles right in there because he, as an Eagle, because he did win that Super Bowl for them. Obviously Philly loves Nick Foles, but I mean, Joy Taylor is not going to have as much weight in the conversation as LaShawn McCoy can when it comes to sports. Now, Joy Taylor, her brother is Jason Taylor, a Hall of Famer, so she can provide that insight as well. But you're not going to sit here and tell me, if I'm looking at James Jones, who played with Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl champion, and when James Jones was in his prime, he was balling. You got LaShawn McCoy, who is one of the best running backs of his era, if not the best, depending on who you talk to, and it's likely going to be a Hall of Famer. You got Emmanuel Ocho, who is the best commentator on the show, but did play in the NFL. He was, pretty much a journeyman. He didn't have a great career in the league, but, he was in the NFL. And then you got Joy up there. It's like, I mean, okay. And every now and then you have someone like, an Adam Schefter of the world, or even like a Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is well known because he was covering Jordan and he was covering the Cowboys. And again, like I said, the synergy. So Skip Bayless is one of the top reporters and insiders when it comes to knowing about Michael Jordan in the 90s and the 90s Cowboys. All right. So that's Skip Bayless. Okay. So when it's saying there's a lack of women on here, it's like, well, they got to have more insight to the sport than the men that are on the show. And like I said, now we got Ryan Clark is on the show now, right? Dan Orlowski is on the show. Shannon Sharp. Like if Shannon Sharp shows up and saying, hey, I'm here to talk about football, Joy Taylor can't say nothing. That's why you was the host in the middle. All right. So when women are making that point, it's got to be in the women's sports. But again, as we see, the WNBA, even when Caitlin shows up, they still don't want to let Caitlin help them rise to the top. They still trying to put her down and stuff. And so that is a little misunderstanding because it's not like it's just random men how it used to be coming out that's commenting on these sports that I'm sure they were just reporters or journalists like Stephen A. Smith or like Skip Bayless, right? They weren't, professional athletes. But now a lot of people now, when you look that are commentating on these sports, they are ex-players of the sport that they're talking about. It's going to be hard to overtalk them. The show, and I would say the show that could really compete with TNT show was the late night show after the Sunday Night Football game on Info Network. It had Dion, it had LT, and it had Shannon Sharp, and sometimes I believe Michael Irvin in there. But Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Shannon Sharp, and Warren Sapp, boy, if you haven't seen them all be on the show, because with Deion and Michael have playing with each other on the Cowboys, and then Deion and Shannon, I believe they made it overlap. But they're friends in real life. Obviously, they're Hall of Famers. Warren Sapp as well, right? So they are in the same group of things. Michael Irvin and Warren Sapp, they had the connection because they both played at my University of Miami, so they're Hurricanes, right? That synergy is insane. On top of the in-depth knowledge that they have of the sport, then on top of the fact that they're some of the best. I mean, Deion Sanders is considered the best corner, like undisputed, like all time. So when we talk about pass coverage in the NFL, can't nobody say nothing over Deion Sanders, right? If we talking about being a pass catcher, and you got Michael Irvin, who as Skip would consider, the playmaker, but not Skip is in playmaker, but arguably better than Jerry Rice in the postseason. There go my son banging, Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness. But these type of things, that people aren't looking at.